Hey, Brother Sewing and Crafting family, Angela Wolf here, Brother Brand Ambassador, and I have a really fun project for you today. So what machine do you need? What tools do you need? Well, almost any, but I'm going to be using the Luminaire. I love to make mug rugs. I know, it sounds crazy, right? But Mother's Day's around the corner. My mom drinks coffee every day, actually all day. Sorry, Mom. Cat's out of the bag. So I thought, what a great way to give her something cute for the table, to go in front of the flowers I'm going to purchase as well, and she can keep her cookies on there, her coffee, whatever. So I'm going to be using the Luminaire. I'm also going to be using the Artspira app. So there's a lot of different ways you can do this mug rug. If you don't have all those tools, you'll still get the idea if you want to sew one yourself. So let's get started. In the meantime, say hi, say where you're from. I love seeing that, and I will be joining you in the chat. All right, so let's bring up some of the supplies that we need. I picked this beautiful blue fabric. I found it in my stash, and it's my mom's favorite colors. So I thought she's going to love this. Now you're probably thinking, okay, you're going to make a mug rug with all of this fabric. I don't know. What do you think? Well, this is what we're going to start to make. I have one in the hoop already. I'm going to show you how I got all of this finished, but if you look closely, that's my handwriting. And it actually has a beautiful quilting. Look at the back. So this is what the top is going to be like. I'm using a 5x7 hoop because I know that's what a lot of you have. Although I am using the Luminaire with a few extra tools, you'll still be able to adapt. So I did this on Artspira. I added in the fill on the embroidery machine, and the last step will be adding the topping, but we'll get to that in a minute. Let me show you how I got this far. So what you're going to need for supplies: 2 pieces of fabric, any color you want. This is just a plain cotton fabric. Make sure it's nice and pressed. 2 pieces, and I believe this was, let me double check, 10 by 14. 10 by 14. And I have 2 of those. This one here, I cut in half. So this was also 10 by 14. I cut it in half right in the center, and I pressed under the edges. Now, I like to serge mine, and of course, with the new airflow serger, I can't resist. I'm serging everything with pink and purple thread because that's what it's still threaded with. I know, I could change it in like 3 seconds, right? But I love the colors. So I serge the edges and then press this under about 3/4 of an inch. So take these 2 pieces and set them to the side. You won't need these yet. We're going to start with embroidery. So you have your 1 piece. I also have a piece of fabric. This is just muslin fabric, an inexpensive muslin fabric, although you can kind of see through it. So I have a trick for you on that. This is going to be what I'm going to embroider on. I just needed something to stand out from the fabric, see? And I didn't have any other fabric laying around that was light enough to see everything. So a muslin fabric works great. I'll give you a little tip on how to make it where you can't see the print from behind. I've got my hoop, 5x7 hoop, tearaway or cutaway stabilizer. It really doesn't matter. And I like to have a little cushion on mine, so I added a really thin piece of fleece or batting, whichever one you prefer. All right, so I have these 2 pieces. I'm going to put that to the side. And I also have a pair of sharp scissors because I'm going to need to trim off my applique. So to get started, why don't we go to the Artspira app? If you haven't downloaded this yet, we've been showing this a lot on the Brother Live shows. Go through here. You can search by name. You can search by title. Here's a bunch of designs. So I wanted to just do something personal. So click on New. Try to aim it this way so you can see it. I'll never be able to write upside down, but at least you'll be able to see it. Here you go. All right. Make that just a little brighter. How's that? Better? All right. Click on New Tools. Select my hoop size. I'm going to be using a 5x7 hoop. And then write whatever you want to write. I'm writing, best mom ever. Love, Angela. Now you can use your finger to write that, or this is just a stylus that comes with my phone, which that's not a Brother product, but you could grab a stylus. It makes it very easy to write on this. All right, so the next step is going to be, I can save it if I want to save this, or go to next. Do you want to save it? Oh, I don't really need to save it, but I don't need to save. I'm going to be sending this to my machine. There's my stitch simulator. I don't know if you've seen that. That's kind of cool. So this actually, you can hit play and it shows you how it's going to embroider. Isn't that cool? All right, hit pause. Done. Transfer. There's my Angela Luminaire, Brother Luminaire. Okay, it's transferring. And now I can go to my machine and bring this up. All right, let's go to the machine. You can hear my little squeaky. You'll hear my squeaky flip-flops because it's summer in Michigan. Yes, I have flip-flops on. I can't resist, but they're noisy. So, all right, let's go to the machine and I'll show you how to bring this up. All right, in here. Well, I'll start from the home screen, just in case you're like, well, now you can do this on a different machine as well. Click embroidery, click the pocket, and way over here, what do you see? Looks like a cloud with a pocket, and there is my signature. Best mom ever. Now I can turn this a different way. I can do anything I really want to with this. I know I'm going to use a 5x7 hoop, so we're going to get to that, but I want to show you how to bring that in. That's as easy as it gets, right? Now, if you are using the Brother Luminaire or maybe an older version of the Brother machines, maybe the Dream Machine, oh gosh. Well, there's other ways that you could bring this in. So first of all, the Artspira app is so simple. I mean, it's literally on your phone, but let's just say you're like, I can't write that small. You can grab your scanning mat if you have one of those machines that offer the scanning. So this is not my signature. This is my niece's sketch that I still have to embroider. If you saw that episode, you'll know both of the girls, the twins, drew these cutest designs. I've got hearts going on, so I have to scan this in to embroider as well. That might have to go on a much bigger mug rug. But anyways, you could scan it. My Design Snap app, if you're using the Brother Luminaire. And, you know, if your machine has Wi-Fi, go try that Artspira app. How simple was that, right? Okay, so that part's finished. Let me get you to hooping so we can make our mug rug and show you how to bring in some of the other designs. For those of you on the Luminaire, you gotta add a fill. It's so much fun. You could also stitch one, but this is going to be a lot more fun. All right, so I'm going to take you over to the table and let's go ahead and get this hooped for what we need. Here you go. So I hope you are having a fabulous day, by the way. I have been sewing all week. All week. I've made a couple new tops. I've made, oh gosh, all kinds of things. I don't know. I think it's because summer's in the air and now I'm in the mood to make, I have some shorts on the list. I have a couple new shirts on the list. Stay tuned. I'll let you know next week how it's going. All right, so here's my hoop. I have my batting. I'm going to put that down first. I don't need the stabilizer at this point. Place your fabric. Just center it in the hoop. Now, what is the stabilizer for then? Well, if you can see through this fabric, if you put a piece of stabilizer underneath of this, it helps to block it out. You could also use 2 pieces of fabric if that's easier, whatever you want. Now, do I need a piece this big? No, but let me just tell you how easy this is. It's only a 5x7 hoop, right? So take this off for now. I'm not going to use this. I'm just going to hoop the batting and the fabric. So this is an in the hoop design. You could also sew it if you want, so you have to use your imagination. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to bring this to the machine This is going to be for our applique. So I'm not hooping it. I'm just bringing this over. As you can see, this is what it's going to look like. So let's go to the machine and finish what we need to do to embroider. If you have any questions, be sure to drop it in the chat. I'm actually in a fishing tournament right now, and I'm watching this with you because I recorded this yesterday. And now I'm going to have 2 mug rugs. I might have to bring one of these onto the boat with me. But I'm live with you in the chat on Brother's YouTube and Facebook page. All right, so I'm going to show you how I did all of this to create the portion in the mug rug. And then I have one saved so it matches. All right, so there's my signature. If you want to rotate it or anything like that, change the size, feel free. I want to go 90 degrees because my mug rug, if you look over here, hopefully Blinky doesn't act up on us. I want the name to go this way because this is going to sit in front of her. Okay, so there, I have my hoop in there. Click OK. Now I'm going to add a different piece of fabric. So the easiest way to do this is turn it into an applique. What kind of applique? I just want to go around the lettering so I can put some fabric down there. And I'm going to change this to make the stitch, see how it's changing the distance around the letters? I want to leave a little bit of room there. Click OK. That looks pretty good. And now what about adding a fill? You can do all of these in one step on the Luminaire. See this right here? There's your fill. You have different options that you can do here. But look, I'm not using a hoop that big. So go ahead and choose your hoop size. And I'm using a 5x7. My goodness. Think we have enough options? There's 5x7. Uh-oh. I think my design is too big. Let's go back. I'm going to make this whole thing just a little bit smaller. Oh, I can't. Okay. I'm going to click delete. What I'm going to bring up now is the design that I did previously because I got a little carried away there. So here we go. Let's bring up my first design. That looks pretty good. Okay, and as you can see, I did the applique. You gotta love recovery, right? Well, when you're doing a live show, you have to make a few saves. All right, let's try that again. In case you missed it, here are the fills. And why don't I click this way this time? And you can see that 4x4, see how that's kind of faded in? That means that hoop is too small, which is what just happened with my other one. Why? Well, my lettering was fine because I said I was using a 5x7 hoop, but once I added that applique and made it bigger and bigger and bigger, all of a sudden it tells me it won't fit in that hoop anymore. I like the way it helps you from not making mistakes. All right, so you have options here. Do you want to do stippling? See what else we have. I love that this is in My Design Center as well. So if you have a machine with My Design Center, even if it's not the Luminaire, you can go into My Design Center and choose a fill. There are a ton of options. A lot of fun stuff in here. Well, let's go ahead and choose that. All right. Click OK. And this is all that is going to be embroidered onto the top. So I'm going to get you started, and then I'll replace this one with the one I've already finished. I didn't think you needed to watch me embroider, but you do need to watch part of this for the applique. So click on embroider. The first thing it shows is it's going to embroider the letters. Well, I don't want to do the letters first. I actually want to start with the applique so I can put the lighter color fabric. If I try to put those letters on that fabric, that's not going to turn out well. I won't be able to see anything. So I'm going to click on the plus and minus. Let's go down. Okay, that's our placement mark. Click OK. I really don't need the placement mark because I'm going to be laying fabric on there anyways. So let's skip down one more stitch. Click OK. And I'm going to place the fabric. Don't get seasick. Okay. So here's the little trick. Put a piece of stabilizer. I'm just floating it on the top. This will help buff out that color. Another option is to take 2 layers of this, whichever one you want. I'm just going to use a piece of stabilizer. Do I need a piece this big? No. I just wanted it big enough that I could just trim around it when I'm finished. Could I cut this applique out with the Brother Scan and Cut? Of course. But this is what I'm doing today. All right. Green means go. And I just like to make sure, stand by here, make sure that the fabric isn't moving around. So here's the placement line for the applique. Okay. And I know that's a little bit bright for you, but you'll see the rest of this in a second. Now I want to go back and embroider those letters now. I try to do things in an order where it's kind of fast and efficient. So I don't want to do the applique yet because I want to trim the fabric first. So let's go up here. Let's go back to the letters. All right, let's see how messy my handwriting is here today. I'll see if I can make that just a little darker for you. And it's stitching out the letters. So while it's doing that, I'm going to come back over here with you. And again, be sure to ask your questions. I'm in the chat, so is Brother Social Team, and we can answer away. So a couple things. What you say, okay, I don't know, I don't have a Luminaire, can I still do this? Yes. So if you have the Artspira app and you have a machine that has Wi-Fi, you cannot download these files onto a USB. It's wireless transfer. So it's as simple as writing something and sending it to your machine. Now, if you have any issues with it doesn't recognize your machine, you have to make sure you set up your machine. There's really good instructions on how to do that. But once you do that, it should recognize it. You can also set it up to recognize your scan and cut too. So that's all with the Artspira app. The one thing you have to make sure is that both the machine and your phone or whatever device you're sending this from are on the same Wi-Fi network. So I say that because, I don't know, I have an issue because I have 3 different wireless here. One that I use for my main business, another one that's an extension to get to the other side of the building, and another extension over there. So they're all named something different. So make sure you're on the same network. All right, that lettering's looking pretty good. I'm just checking, making sure that, yeah, that looks fantastic. Best mom ever. And we're just about finished with that. So a few other things. If you don't have the Luminaire and you can't add that fill, now I know a lot of you play with PE design. Okay, you can create a fill there and send it. So there's a lot of different options. I'm trying to make this, though, as basic as it can be. So whatever Brother tools you have, you can make this fun mug rug. So we're just about finished here with this. So let's go back to the machine. And then the next thing we're going to have to do is trim around that edge of that fabric. All right, let's go back over here. Great noise. That means, yay, we're almost finished. So I need to remove this fabric from the applique. Otherwise, when I go to add this embroidery design up here, take you out just a little bit. When I go to add all of that fill, it would actually embroider on top of the applique fabric, which would be weird. All right, so this is what we have. Looks pretty good. And that's just handwriting. And I could have set this as a satin stitch if I wanted to, but I really wanted it to be like handwriting, which is what it looks like. All right, so meet me at the table. let's trim this up and I'll show you. We're almost finished, believe it or not. All right. Now, you can use itsy bitsy applique scissors, whatever you want. I like to use my big sharp scissors. And this is why. Watch this. If you're using a really sharp pair of scissors and you just open this tip just a little bit. Now, these are ginormous. You don't have to go that big. But watch, if I pull this fabric, I can literally use those scissors. It just tears the side. So I'm pulling the fabric and letting the scissors. It's almost like having a third hand. So I'd love to know in the comments, are you doing anything special this weekend? And are you going to make a mug rug for your mother or for your friend or anything like that? But I just know my mom is going to love this. So Mom, if you're watching this, hopefully you're not, because you're going to know what you're going to get for Mother's Day. I would have to say this isn't the first mug rug I've made her, but this is the first one in this color. I figure this is safer than cooking, right? At least for me. For those of you that know me for a while, I will stick to my sewing skills. There we go. Why am I not cutting the stabilizer at the same time? Because it just would be too tricky. They're both two different textures of fabric. So now again, and I just turn the hoop so I can maneuver the point of my scissors to get around this. Be real careful that your fabric does not come unhooped or you'll have an issue there. Look at how that stabilizer just gave, yes, I did waste a little bit. I'll probably save this. I'm sure I'm going to make a few more of these because I really only needed a piece that big. I just find it if I've got a piece of fabric laying around and it covers, I'm not going to be too chintzy on that. All right. And back around this way. Could you use my design center? Yes, you could. You could use my design center, Artspira app. And if you don't have any of those and you just have an embroidery machine that doesn't have Wi-Fi, even if you can't get your letters in, just go ahead and type, use the letters on the machine and do a font. So there you go. So after this, we'll go back to the machine and it will embroider the outline. Look at how nice that looks. And also I have the fill on there, the fill stitch, which you can see from the back. Got a lot of little extra here. Looks pretty good, right? So this is where we are now. We just trimmed. We'll go back and let it embroider the outline and let it embroider the fill, which I don't think you need to watch that. So this, it's like magic to this. Voila. All right, so this is going to be the top of the mug rug. If you want to do it in the hoop design, now if you don't, that's fine too. You will layer your pieces of fabric on here like this, and you'll stitch a rectangle. I'm going to do this in the hoop. So I'm going to go to the machine and we're going to find a rectangle as big as we can get it in the 5x7 hoop. And I will layer my fabric. So remember, I told you to fold this back about 3/4 of an inch to an inch. It's going to layer right on here and layer right like this. Why? Well, because we're going to make kind of a pillow. Make sense? All right. Do that one more time. This is finished. Voila. Voila. If you have tape, you might want to tape this down. You know what? I have some medical tape that I usually use, but I'm just going to grab this Scotch tape right here. I just you just want to make sure that when your needle for embroidery doesn't get stuck here or in here. Throw a few more of this down. This is just plain old, not a Brother brand, just plain old tape. Okay? Let's go back to the machine and find ourselves a rectangle. All right, pretty simple so far, would you say? Pretty easy? If you have questions, leave them in the chat. And in the meantime, I'm going to go back to the machine, find a rectangle so I can sew. I could sew it too, but why? It'd be so much faster to do the embroidery. So that's where we're going. Back to the Luminaire. So if you're going to make a few of these and you want to save this, here's a quick little tip for you. Click on memory. You can save it. This one I don't think you can save to a USB because that came from Artspira. So I'm going to save it to my machine. Let's double check. I'm pretty sure that that's how it works. Yes. You cannot save this to a USB. And I know a lot of you say, if I bring this to my machine, can I put it on a USB and send it someplace else? Nope. So it's in here, good to go. All right. Hit cancel. So I've saved that so I can finish. My mom's going to get 2 mug rugs. But all right, so in here, we're going to pretend this is already finished. I'm going to put my hoop back in so the machine knows what size hoop I'm using. I could also just program it that way and tell it as well, but if I put it in here, it'll at least know. All right, hoops in. Start from scratch here, click OK. Go into embroidery. Let's go to shapes. And there's a rectangle, there's a square. I guess just pick whichever one you want, but I really just want a basic. I don't need all these decorative stitches. This is literally just going to be a stitch. Actually, I'm going to go to square because I can change this to be any size I want it to be. And I like the curved edges because it gives a little nice roundedness to the mug rug. Click set. Make sure you can see that. Bring you in a little closer. Okay, so there's my square. And click on edit. Click size. And let's see how long we can make this. Oh, pretty long. That will not fit in my hoop anymore, so let's go back down. Remember, I'm using a 5x7 hoop. You can tell the machine, too, what size hoop you're using. Why don't we go ahead and do that? Click on settings. Let's go to embroidery. Embroidery frame size. Oh, I didn't even plan that. 5x7. Click OK. And now I can see the box. If you look really close, you'll never be able to see this, so you're going to have to trust me on that. I'll make you a little brighter. There's my box, but do you see that other little outline right there? So that's as big as I can go, which prevents me from going to a lot of work and then finding out that, hey, this won't fit. And now let's make this wider. Looks like it might fit. Yeah, that looks pretty good. If it doesn't, it'll beep and tell me my design's too big. That's all I need. Click embroider. Yay! And it's one single line. This is literally a minute. I figure you wouldn't mind hanging out with me for a minute. And by the way, I wanted to thank all of you because so many of you asked for Thursday shows to come back, and they're back. So thanks, brother, for that. Make sure you leave him a note, and if there's a topic you'd like to see, be sure to let us know. Just want to go really slow over that area here. Yep, looks like I passed with flying colors. Okay. And our rectangle is finished. Oh, don't you love that? All finished. All right, let's take this hoop out and I'll meet you at the table, because we are just about finished. Pretty easy, right? That's it. We're almost finished. Literally, we only have a few minutes. In fact, let's see, we've hit the 30-minute mark. That included visiting and playing around a little bit. Now, if I wanted to embroider that full design out, I think it took maybe, I don't remember off the top of my head, but I want to say maybe 10 minutes. So I did that before you got here. That being said, that's not very long to finish a whole mug rug, right? All right, let's go to the table. Okay, here we go. Just pop this out. So what do we have here? Here's the top. I'm going to remove that tape that I put in here because we don't need that. I need to get in there. Perfect. And get that off of there. And let's get that off there. Perfect. Okay, you can reach your hand in. Beautiful. If you look at the back side, you can see my rectangles just inside of the fill, which is fine. I could have made it a little bit bigger. I could have gone that way a little bit. I just didn't want it to be bigger than the fill, so there was a break. Do you know what I mean? So if this is the edge, I didn't want my square or rectangle to be outside of that. That's the only thing I was trying to be careful of. All right, so it's easier to see this side. I'm going to trim. Bigger your scissors, the faster you get this thing cut out. Yeah. By the way, if you do this, I would love for you to share photos of this. You can drop it in the comments here in this video or add it to social, and be sure to tag Brother and then tag myself, Angela Wolf. Just trim the corners a little bit. I like to kind of make those. Okay. This is going to be the perfect size. And then just flip this. There you go. And so my little trick, I know there's a lot of tricks to get those corners. And this is, actually, let me make sure I trimmed this enough, because I trimmed outside of the fill, but I didn't trim outside of here. So I'm going to trim this one more time, because this isn't an exact corner. See the square that I picked, or the rectangle? Well, I picked a square and turned it into, it has a curve. I was thinking, wait a minute, I chose not to do corners. I wanted a curve. For those of you with a machine with bigger hoops, like the Luminaire, you could literally make 2 of these, almost 3 if you wanted to, but for sure 2 in that bigger hoop. Okay, that looks great. A little better. All right, so now let's turn it right side out. It's basically just like a little pillow. And because I don't have a corner, I'm just going to use my thumb to push that out. You have to be really careful that you don't trim it too close, because what can happen is you can push out those corners, which I'm sure is not what you want. Here. And one more. Oh my goodness. How cute is that? Let's see. I'm going to give this a quick pressing. I know you can't see that, but hold on tight. So you just have to picture that I'm pressing. Oh, don't you love that? All right, I have my coffee cup here. Let's see. It's filled with tea. I think it's going to be perfect. Best mom ever. She's going to love this. So it can go anywhere on there. It lays nice and flat. If you want to make these bigger to give you a few ideas, you can actually just use a wider piece of fabric. I could have used a bigger hoop and made this a little bigger. I could have made that rectangle a little bigger, which would have made it maybe a little bit longer. But I don't think I would use, well, if you have a 4x4 hoop, you'll have room to make just like a little small one. But Doesn't that look great? All handwritten, all on Artspira. Oh, you know what? I have a really cute coffee mug that's plain, that's blue, and I have a feeling I better go to the scan and cut. Isn't this terrible when you start working on little ideas like this and you're like, wait a minute, I thought of something else. Okay, here you go. I thought of something else. I think I need to get a coffee cup. Well, find one that's her color. I think I have one here, but if not, I'll go to the scan and cut and put in like best mom ever with the scan and cut. You can use it on the Artspira app as well. It would match. So I'll find a dainty cup that fits on here perfect, but look at how cute this is. I love it. So I hope you have a great Mother's Day, or if you're visiting your mother or friends or whatever, have a good weekend. Mom, if you're watching, you already know what you're getting from me. And in fact, Wynn and I will be driving this to you with a new cup with Happy Mother's Day. So leave a comment below. I would love to see if you're going to work on this project. And brother, thank you for letting us take over your page. It's so strange doing it by myself, but I can still see everybody, so there's just a little bit delay. So there you go, mug rug. Now, the question to you is, what color fabric are you going to use? And what is your message going to say? What are you going to draw on Artspira? Okay, I know someone's going to mention, wait a minute. I can't write. It's not very nice. Well, the good thing to know is most of the Brother embroidery machines have a font in them, or you can go to Embroidery and grab some font, or in the Artspira app, grab something that looks great. By the way, one more thing for you. Did you check out last week's show? And I don't know if I have a link here. If I do, I'll drop it in. Did you check out last week's show with Joanne with the free design of the month? Just checking, because that was a very cute project. Very cute. And it's free. So share your projects, #brothersews.com. Until next time, I will see you on Tuesday on Brother Sews. If I could remember who's coming on off the top of my head, let's see. I might be able to tell you. I've got it here somewhere if I'm in the right year. Yep, you love it when you open your calendar and it's on 2024. We're not there yet. We're not there. Tuesday is Laura Pfeiffer. Laura Pfeiffer will be here. She's working on a knot bag. She's on Tuesday, and on Thursday, see if I have that one in here. Oh, you have me again. Except I will be live with you next Thursday. Next Thursday, I'm going to be showing you an idea for a graduation gift. So I have a lot of friends that live down south. They have swimming pools, or their friend has a swimming pool, or their friend's friend has a swimming pool. And I thought, what a cool graduation gift to do a class of 23 towel. Have a pool party with all your friends and give them a towel. So that's what we're doing on Thursday. So I will see you next week. Until next time, happy sewing, and I will see you soon. Bye.